Everyone. So in this video, we are going to take a look at how we can use the events endpoint of the Microsoft Graph API to fetch the events and see some of the pointers. So the first one, we'll take a look at how we can get events from our user's calendar using Graph API. Then how we can apply the filters to get the events within a specific date range. Also how we can create a new event using Graph API. For this, we require these permission, candidate.read, candor.read basic, and the third one we require calendar.write to create a new event. So I will show you how we can add the required permission. And these are my node version and other package dependencies. So currently I'm using node 18.20.3 PNP, and SPNP version is 4.11.0. So make sure you use the same version, because in earlier version of, if you are using node less than 18, then there are some additional setup you have to do. You can easily found on a PNPGS website. So after the installation, the first thing you have to do is to configure the permission in the JSON file, as because whenever you deploy the package, you have to approve the permission using the API access panel. So these permission I have configured here. Now next thing, we'll take a look at documentation first. So here in under PNP, we have the calendars. So here we will see how we can get the event from. This is for the calendar only. So let's say if I want to see for events, so this is how we can get the events from our user's calendar. So this is the function we are going to use. Graph.users get by ID, the logged in user ID, and then we have the events. Let me go back to the code. Here I have set up the project already. I have initialized one state. Event is my interface for my events response, because whenever I call that API to get the response. So this is the Microsoft Graph API Explorer. When I hit this, I will get a response like this. So what I am doing, I am just keep capturing some of the values like event subject, web link of the event, its start time and end time. So using this, I have created interface so that I can easily map the value in my code. After that, I have used the my event. So this is the array of object, and there one loading state. Initially, the value of my events will be blank because there are no data. That's why it's a blank array, and loading will be true. Then there is a component in mouth. There I just added the function called get my events. Here we have the main function. First, you need to set up the context. So this is the exact same formula you have to use. Then after that, I have just copied that function from here. So from the documentation, if I go here, we have this function. So exact same function I have copied here, and just I'm logging the value in a console. Now what we can do, if you want to save this value in state, so after this value you get here, you can directly add it to the state. So I will use add this dot set state. My events will be the events data that I'm getting from the API response. And once I get the data, I don't want to show the loading. So the loading will be false. I will keep the console log as it is, because I will show you how we are getting the response from the API as well in the console. Then I have just added the heading that says my inbox, that was earlier video, and it is my events. Then we have to capture the events and show the data here. So I will just map it directly, this.state.my events for every element. That's why we are using map. I will use a variable called event, and for this event I have already added a state earlier, so called as event. Then after that, we have to return some data in HTML format. So I will use a return statement, and in that first I will return the subject of the event. So the event dot, we have the subject. Then I will return the web link. So this is the link that will directly take you to that event. So when you click on that link, it will open that event in Outlook calendar on the web version only. Then we have the start time and end. We have the start dot date time, and we have the end dot date time. Now you might question, like, if it's the first time you are working on this event, so you might have the question, why did we write the start dot date time instead of just start? So for your knowledge, so if we take a look at the response, every response here is directly mapping the key and value. So let's say this is the ID. We already got the string here. We have the subject and we directly got the string. But if we take a look at how we are getting the data from the start and end date, so there is a start value and it's a object format. So in start, we have the date time. That's why whatever the data we are getting, we have to use this date time. If we directly use start, then we get the object. So that's why I'm using start dot date time. Then let's save this and let's wait for it to run. So once it is run, then we are expecting that we are visible to show the events, and I will just add one HR tag also because it will separate those events. So let's wait for it to run. We can refresh the page. If I go to my site, I have deployed this directly on the app catalog. I'm not running this locally. So here, as you can see, we got the data, the subject of the event, then the web link. So let's say if I directly open this link in a new tab, and this is the start time and end time. So we can format this using JS code. So I will show you in a quick. So let's first how it appears when I click on the web link. So it will open the Outlook tab and it will open that event directly. I don't have that much information for this event as this is just created for testing purpose. But if you have all the details, all the attendees, you can see all the data here and you can easily edit and delete it. So let me close it. So after that, you can see the date format is not what we expect, right? So we can easily format this date. So let me just copy it. So I will show you the formula. So you can use ChatGPT or any library, but I don't think like just formatting this thing requires any library. So let me just format this new date. So what formula we are going to use? Dot, let's say, to ISO string. So let's see how we get the data. And here is the format. And if you want it to like in a specific format, so use to date string. So you will get these kind of thing. So I will just copy this one, and this we need to put in a new date. And here we need to pass that event dot start dot date time, and after that we have to use to date string. We have the new date. Same I will copy and we'll just change start to end, and let me save it. For this I will format a little bit. I will just anchor tag. The href will be our event dot web link, and I want to always open this URL in the next tab. So the target will be blank. And the text I will just say see event. Till the time our code is running, what we can do, we can just create one button that will add event. So for this I will just add one button here that says create event. I already have this function, so I will map that function and on click of that button. So on click, here we just need to write this dot create event. I'm not using any form, any date picker control. You can have it customized according to your need. So you can take a text input, you can take a date picker, start date and end date. But what I'm doing is I'm just using static data. The process is same, so there is no difference. So here the code is finished. So let's finish the create event part as well. So this is how we get the event. Now, if we can check the documentation, let's say I want to create an event. So it's a schedule a meeting actually. Both terms are almost same. So it's a post request. If you see, if I want to get, then it's a get request. And if I schedule a meeting or create an event in my calendar, it's a post request. Now this is not the response we want. We have to pass the body. So in body, you see these things we need to pass. The first one is important, that is the subject of the event. Start time and end time must be in a UTC format, let's say. So here I will see my event for testing purpose. And if I run this query, so the event has been created. We got the response, and in Outlook as well, that event got created. So this is my event for the testing purpose. So what I will do, I will use the same body, but first we need to copy the function from the PNP to create a new event. So let me search for it, create event. So this is the function. We already set up and import these things, so we don't need them. We can directly use this one. So this is my create event function. I will copy directly. I will format a little bit so you guys can understand. So let me just initialize a variable const event data equal to, I will separate this object, and I will use this event data to pass here. Now we need this one also, because the context is required, because the scope of this context within this specific function only. So I need to use it in the another function as well. As this is async await, so let's add async operator as well. And here you see the get by ID, it's saying the user email is required. So what we need to do, we need to pass the user email. So how we can get that, using the context only. So the props.context dot page context dot user dot email. So if you have created the setup or the SharePoint project, you need to make this context manually. So I hope you already know. So here's how you can do it. You have to use a context and web part context, import that here, and in your main TypeScript file, you have to add context as a this.context. Then only you can able to access it. And it says the event data is not matching the type functionality. So just pass any here. Let me click on save. I think subject is let's go for lunch. Body type is HTML. It's a text and HTML. If you want to format, if you are using a rich text editor to manage the event details, then you can keep it as HTML. But if you are just using the plain text, then you can put it as a text. So no issues. Start and end time will be fine. So I think Pacific Standard Time. So you have to use this time zone. So I will keep as it is. And the display name will be health bar. Okay, attendees, I don't want any attendees here, so I will, because this email ID is not in my tenant. So let's see how it works. So we are expecting whenever we reload the page, we should see all the events with the formatted date and time, so that we can see the actual date properly. And then if I click on create event, then it will create event in my calendar. So this is finished. Let's go back to our site. Let me refresh. So here we got the data. Here we have the event start and event end. If I click on see event, it will open that link in the next step. And let's see what happens if we create event. So I'm not using any console. So let me go to the network tab so that we can see the requests. I will clear this. Let's click on it. And you see 200 status that is completed, and this one we got in the response. So let me check the subject. Yeah, this is the subject. Let's go for lunch. So this is the exact one we did in our code. Let's check Outlook to see whether that event got created or not. So subject is let's go for lunch, and the date and time of it will be, let me check, 15th of April. So let's go to April. Oh, actually this is 2017. Okay, I need to change this. I actually copied directly, so I did not take a look at this one. So let me just change it. So instead of 15 April, I will just, today's date is 22nd, let's say. I want it to be 25th of March, and this one as well, 25 to 26. So let's wait for it to run, and it's run, and let's refresh. We got the data. Let me click on create event. Okay. Okay, the event got created. Let's check for 25th. And here we should see, let's go for the lunch, this one. Here we have the date. Harris bar is the location. So if you see, the location display name is Harris bar. If you don't specify anything, then it will be null, or let's say default will be Teams meeting. So here you might question, this is 25 and 26 it's saying, but on my calendar it's saying 26 and 27 because this is in a PST and I'm currently in IST. That's why the calendar and showing here, it's based on my time zone. That's why it is showing 1 day extra. So this is how you can create events. Then there are some other functions as well you can use. So if you go at documentation, you can cancel any event. So you just want that event ID. So you just need to hit the API, and how you get that event ID. So if I show you the response we got after creating, so this ID you will get. So this is the ID of the event. So this is a unique ID for each event. You need that to cancel or delete that event. And then after there are some functions to delete, let's say update. If you want to RSVP for that, you have to use this function. So let's say there is a RSVP button, right? So if any meeting schedule in your Teams, you have three options: RSVP, like tentative, accepted, or declined. In this way, you can customize it on your own need in SPFX. So we have saw all these three things. If you have any doubts or any question at any point, you can let me know in comments. Thank you.